If you're a football fan, then quite simply, today is not a special day at all. This is devastating for football. It's ridiculous that it's got to this stage. And I can't believe what has happened. And it's just been let to happen. So, two football teams in the north of England who are both in League One, which is a competitive league. It's a good football league in England, are about to be expelled from the Football League. And not even expelled, they're about to be removed. And they're about to cease to exist as a football club. Those two clubs are Bury Football Club and Bolton Wanderers, two of the oldest football clubs. To put that into perspective, they're actually football clubs which were created before my team, Liverpool, in 1892. I think Bury were 1885. And it's absolutely shameful that two such special clubs are about to be no longer a football club. It's insane. And I can't believe that it's happening in 2019. This is utterly disgraceful. And to be honest, I think if you're a Man United fan, if you're a Liverpool fan, you're an Arsenal fan, if you're a Scunthorpe fan, if you're a West Ham fan, any football fan, we can all relate to this and how devastating and diabolical this is to their local communities. Can you guys imagine for a second your team that you support on the same day as right now suddenly stops being a football club? Can you imagine how that feels? And this is about to happen. Seriously about to happen to Bury and Bolton. So both these teams are based in the north of England. Bury were actually promoted from League 2 last season to League 1, which was amazing considering all their financial troubles. Their owner was not, their owner and I believe, the club themselves weren't able to pay their players a lot of the time. Their salaries weren't going into their accounts every week. The manager wasn't always getting paid. It really was a terrible situation for Bury, firstly. So how did we reach this point with Bury? So at the end of April, Bury were celebrating promotion back to the third tier of English football, but they were already enduring a torrid time off the pitch. Players and staff had often been paid late, while a winding up petition filed against the club was adjourned 3 times before eventually being dismissed by the High Court on 31st of July. By then, creditors had approved a company voluntary arrangement, (CVA), put forward by Dale, which was proposed to help settle some of their debt. I believe Dale was, and think still is, their owner, I believe. The CVA meant unsecured creditors, including HM Revenue and Customs, would be paid 25% of the money owed, but also triggered a 12-point deduction in the League One table under EFL rules. Furthermore, the EFL has been unsatisfied Bury have given enough evidence of their financial viability. And that's really what it all comes down to. Bury and Bolton do not have the financial stability as football clubs to sustain themselves being a club in the English League. So it is seriously ridiculous that this is happening, and it's been let to happen. People who've not been able to do their job correctly have owned these football clubs for quite a long time, and even when the new owners have come in, they've not been sustainable either. So it's mad that this is happening. Anyway, what if Bury don't meet their deadline? The EFL reiterated this week that if a solution is not found by the deadline, the board will authorise the necessary share transfer on behalf of Bury FC, which shall be legally binding on all parties and result, regretfully, in the club no longer being a member of the league. In other words, the Shakers, which is Bury's nickname, will be expelled from the English Football League. They'll no longer be a football club, and the club would then be free to make an application to the Football Association to rejoin league competition further down the English football pyramid from season 2021, according to the EFL. So, not only that though, guys, if you're a Bury fan, you've seen this news right now, as I'm recording this at 6:30 on a Monday night. The proposed takeover of Tuesday night, of data analytics company CNN Sporting Risk is unable to proceed, the company have announced. And they had agreed a deal to buy the League One club from Steve Dale, who had initially been given a deadline of 11:59 p.m. last Friday to either provide proof he can fund the League One side this season or hand it over to someone who could. The EFL granted an extension to Bury until 5 p.m. on Tuesday, which has just gone past right now, to complete the sale of the club, but due to complexities related to the purchase, CNN Sporting Risk have said they are unable to progress any further with acquisition. So this now means, guys, that Bury are about to be removed from the Football League. They will not be competing. They haven't actually played in League One this season. They have got, I believe, minus 12 points in the league. So I think heart to heart from a fellow, obviously huge Liverpool fan like myself, and any football fan out there, we all really do feel your pain. It is seriously crap that you guys have had to go through this, and I think you guys in the comments will be on the same wavelength as me. It's terrible. Imagine being a football fan and you've grown up in that place, and even if you've moved on from living in Bury or Bolton in your life, you've got that memory of that football club being a part of your town. This obviously affects the players' jobs, affects, like, obviously the people working there's jobs. I mean, the community is just, football as a whole is such a massive and integral part of any community. If that town is obviously a big football town. And I know that going to Bolton, 10 years ago was a very, very big football town in terms of being in the Premier League. They had good teams, good players. Sam Allardyce was the manager, and now they're about to be removed as well. So, Bury, man, it's so crap. I really, really feel for you guys. It's so terrible. What do you think, though, about the whole Bury situation? The fact that they were promoted last season is ridiculous. That is one hell of an achievement, with so many players not being paid on time, with so many financial difficulties going on. It's insane that they got promoted. I believe their manager is now the Plymouth Argyle manager. I think I'm right in saying that. So fair play to their manager and players last season. So yeah, that is the first club there, Bury, which is about to be removed, guys, from the Football League. And it doesn't stop there, though. Bolton Wanderers, the Premier League team who seem to be like a solid 8th or 7th or even like 6th team in the Premier League back in the 2000s, mid-2000s, were really a solid team. They had Jussi Jääskeläinen, JJ Okocha, for God's sake. They had Elhaj Diouf there. They had so many nice, solid players. Kevin Davis was a beast as a striker. And this is true, man. Bolton are looking likely to, again, like Bury, be removed from the Football League. I can't believe I'm saying that. This is a team that was a very respectable team in the Premier League era, and then they had such massive financial difficulties. So Bolton were relegated from the Premier League in 2012. 4 years later, their football existence was threatened before former striker Dean Holdsworth was part of a takeover at the club. Anderson took control after Holdsworth Company's Sports Shields were wound up. Wanderers entered administration in May after being relegated from the Championship before Football Ventures agreed a deal to take over the club. The deal was almost stopped after Lawrence Bassini, who had bid to buy the club before administration, was awarded a court order blocking the sale on 8th of August. The court order was adjourned, paving the way for the takeover to continue before that eventually collapsed. The club did call off their match against Doncaster last week, citing welfare concerns, having only 5 senior outfield players available, and boss Phil Parkinson resigned on Thursday, to no surprise. So it is, to me, crazy that a team like Bolton, who were a really, really tough team to play against in that Premier League era, probably from was it mid-2000s to maybe 2012 when they were relegated. It's mad to see that they're now another team that are going to be removed from the Football League. They are going to not be a football club in terms of in the Football League. That, to me, is absolutely insane. Obviously, responsibility has to go to their, I think, previous owner, Phil Gardside. Obviously, they had such a magnificent period in the Premier League for, was it 9-10 years? They were there for years, man. And I feel like it's another Leeds situation. Leeds were in a very similar situation where they were relegated and they never prepared for it. The player salaries were too high, thus their financial difficulties happened. And Leeds, on the other hand, they got that takeover. Bolton and Bury have not had that right now. They've had it over the last few years, but they've not been good owners who've taken over. That's been the difference. Leeds got a bit lucky with that, and obviously Leeds are now doing pretty well in the Championship. Hopefully they'll get promoted for their fans. But anyway, this is the League One table. Bolton minus 11 points, Bury minus 12. So you're probably wondering as well, how will this impact the league structure? So the EFL has already outlined how it intends to balance the leagues if Bury are expelled. So the current League One season would be completed with 23 teams, with the number of relegation places reduced to 3. Also, Bolton are about to be removed as well. So this is going to impact that as well. It's going to be 22 teams. 4 teams will still be promoted from League 2 this season, ensuring League 1 is rebalanced in 2021. Only 1 team will be relegated from League 2, with 2 to be promoted from the National League as usual. So I'm very intrigued to see how they go about that if both teams are removed from the Football League. I've got to say as well, Sky Sports do a lot of fantastic things. They really do. However, I don't really like the way they took the whole deadline theme. They had a countdown timer for Bolton and Bury. I get it for a transfer deadline, Sky, but I don't really think it's worth making a show of this. Come on. It's just not. Their clubs are about to be stopped being football clubs. You don't really want to make that a show. Anyway, really unfortunate news, guys, for Bolton fans, and this is the news. So a deal to buy the club from owner Ken Anderson by Preferred Bidders Football Ventures, which was virtually agreed on Friday evening, collapsed on Saturday morning. Bolton's administrator has warned he will begin liquidation proceedings on Wednesday if it's not resurrected. So, as I'm making this video, guys, the deal is looking like it's about to, it's collapsed. So, reading some breaking news. So, a 5 p.m. deadline for Bolton has passed, and the takeover for Bolton has to be completed or face expulsion from the Football League, and that is the deadline. Just after 5, though, Bolton issued a statement saying that discussions are ongoing with all parties, and a further statement will be later issued. So, it's not looking good at all. If you're a Bolton fan, this really is terrible. And I think, to be honest, it's a bit emotional to see this. I've really taken that perspective of imagine this happening to your club. If you support Port Vale, if you support your Sunday League team, think about how much fun you have with that. Imagine that being just ripped away. That would seriously be so terrible. I think terrible isn't even the strongest word I can use. It's so bad. It's so crap. Yeah. Guys, let me know what you think about this just shocking, really shocking development. And also got to lay some blame, man. The Football League passed the sale of, I believe, Bolton, and gave the green light for their owner. This was an owner who was also, I believe, blocked from, I think it was either owning a company or having shares in companies, at least having a role high up within companies for 8 years. Then they gave the green light to this guy and hasn't fixed the problem. Obviously, with other clubs in the past, We, Liverpool, had our own troubles when we had Gillette and Hicks as our owners back in like the, was it 2010 era, around about that era. And we got lucky that obviously we found fantastic owners. They helped solve all the crap that we were left in with our financial difficulties. We got lucky. Bolton and Bury have not. The difference is we've had owners where they've removed that debt and they've been really smart about how to improve our financial welfare with our football club. Bury and Bolton have not had that. Bolton at least have had an owner who has been pretty crap, to put it bluntly. Has been absolutely terrible. So, yeah, this is so bad for football. What do you guys think needs to be done in the future? It's mad. I did like an entire script of what I wanted to say to you guys, but I've just kind of gone off in one, so hopefully you've enjoyed this one. I'm so passionate about this because it's so crap for the football world to have two teams that have had such history just wiped, man, because they've had, really stupid owners take over and they've not done enough. They've not been smart about it. They've not been, like, why own a football club if you can't actually sustain it? It's crazy to me. Anyway, hopefully, guys, I don't even want to say enjoy this video because it's not a video to enjoy, but I wanted to really just get this on my chest, man. I can't believe this is happening in 2019. It's terrible. Hopefully, you have a great day, guys, wherever you're from in the world. Let me know what you think, and how would you feel if your football club was no longer a football club in the leagues?